Hi, everybody. Hassan Shariq, regulated Canadian immigration consultant, back with another live session, the weekend live session that we do. It's actually long weekend over here, and I've taken a few days off. Wasn't really working till tomorrow, but I thought I'll do this quick live session. It won't be for 1 hour, the normal session that we do, but we will do a quick session, maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes. If there are any questions from any of you, would love to answer those and provide you with some updates. I'll just wait for a while so that some more people can join. Alain Munya, hi Alain, regular attendee of this session. Hope you're doing well. In terms of Mohammed Ozi, hi Ozi. Hope you're doing great. Faraz Ahmed, what's your suggestion for one with 40 plus years? We'll have a discussion on that. And Ozi is asking, waiting for your prediction today. I've kind of backed off from that, Ozi. We will have a quick discussion about how the express entry pool is looking. But predictions, let's see how we move with that. Asma has joined. Asma says hello. Also, if you guys could just mention that from which country are you writing to watching this so that we could. I think Arjun saying it's there is echo. Is that the case? Let me. Okay, Arjun, is it any better now? If you guys could confirm if that echo that was there, if it's gone. I'm not in my usual spot where I do my sessions. I'm doing a bit of a. Okay, I'm hearing you very well on YouTube, so it's perfectly fine. Maybe Arjun is also on YouTube, but might be some different settings. Okay, so let's first start with the express entry draw that we had. I will share the screen and yeah. So we had express entry draw last week. As expected, this turned out to be an all-inclusive draw. So it seems, although I wouldn't really say that it's confirmed that this is the new trend, but it seems that now IRCC is moving towards this trend of doing alternate draws, where one particular draw is a targeted draw, CEC only, and the other draw that we get to have is usually an all-inclusive draw. So looking at this particular draw number 162nd, the good thing is that this time around they invited 4,200 people. So that's a larger number of people being invited. Cutoff score 475. It has not fallen down too much, and this is something which is expected now because we more recently, and my own experience, where a lot of clients, probably people who've graduated with Canadian experience and education, a good number of CEC applicants are moving into the pool. Different language test centers have opened up here in Canada. So because of that, a lot of such applicants who were eligible for CEC but were missing their Ielts, they've taken Ielts, and a lot of new applicants have moved into the express entry profile. And I think that's where more and more competition is now. If we look at the pool in itself, a comparison. Sorry. Yeah. So again, looking at the numbers, if you see the overall numbers in the pool compared with how they were about 2 weeks ago have not changed much. So the overall number of people in the pool stands at about 142,000, which was pretty much at the same number. I actually have another sheet which I'll open for my own. And people within the score range of 601 to 1200, this doesn't really impact the FSWP applicants who are outside of Canada, but this number sort of close to where it was. The important number, which is 451 to 500, so this time around it stood at 22,541. On 18th of August, this was 22,385. So not a lot of difference. It's same. If we look at the individual brackets, which are CRS score ranges of about 10 points each. So 491 to 500, 264. This was about 217. The next is 655. This was about 409. More importantly, 471 to 480, this is 4,482 this time around, and this was 4,302 on 18th of August. So this has actually had an increase, a slight increase, but an increase. And this is the competitive CRS score range. 461 to 470, 8,255. It was 8,500, slight decrease. 451, it remains the same, and then 401. So the important bracket of, I would say, 470 to 500, the number is sort of consistent compared with how it was 2 weeks ago. And because of that, I do not see a lot of change in terms of CRS scores dropping for FSWP applicants. I know this is not really good news that I'm sharing. And now that we are witnessing these all-inclusive draws happening every second draw, so there's alternate draws. So naturally, if there is between two all-inclusive draws, there's a time frame of 4 weeks. And 4 weeks is a substantial time wherein we can have these high-scoring people move into the pool. So if we continue with this same trend of all-inclusive draw followed by one targeted draw, then for for FSWP applicants, the cutoff CRS might only drop 1 to 2 CRS points between every all-inclusive draw. That's what I foresee, because the number of people entering the pool is sort of consistent with the number of people who are moving out of the pool, especially in those high scoring rates. So we might not see scores, the CRS cutoff scores falling anything below 470 in probably another 2 to 3 months, if the same trend continues. Again, as I said, that this is not a confirmed policy that these alternate draws will continue to happen. IRCC is looking at a lot of factors, and once a large number of countries from where applicants do apply for express entry, they sort of open up, people can submit their biometrics, do their medicals, we might move back to the same norm of all-inclusive draws. Also, this policy might continue, so this might be good news for CEC applicants, because there has been a lot of talk within Canada in terms of CEC people, or a lot of people who have Canadian education and they stay back for work here in Canada on their post-study work permit. A lot of those people are not able to take benefit if they do not have a master's degree. So this CEC targeted draw policy might actually be an answer to that issue that was being raised by a lot of Canadian graduates, international students who had come to Canada, and a lot of immigration practitioners as well. So let's see how this unfolds. But if we continue with this current scheme of things, definitely the cutoff CRS score for FSWP applicants will most likely only be dropping between 1 to 2 CRS points every all-inclusive draw that we get to see. So that's my sort of opinion on express entry pool and how things might look out in the future. Few updates, especially for students who are looking at starting this fall. I've already mentioned this, that the two-stage approval policy, which is in place for study permit applications, you can only take benefit of that up until 15th of September. So if you wish to take benefit of that two-stage approval policy, you must submit your application, the first stage, and the documents relevant to that, which is your letter of acceptance and your financials, by 15th of September. Do submit your documents by 15th of September so that you have the first stage approval, and then you can apply for the next stage. For all applicants who are going to start their study this fall, keep in mind that classes are online. Even if you get a visa approval, you are not entitled to travel to Canada right now. There are travel restrictions. The offices at the borders, which are CBSA offices, might not allow you. More recently, a student from India who traveled was stopped at the airport. They were asked if the classes were online. Because the classes were online, it was considered as non-essential travel. The passport was taken by the CBSA officer. The student was asked to return back to the airport next day to be returned back home. So even if you get a visa granted, fall intake will be online. Keep that in mind. It will be, if you already have a study permit approval by that time, that will be considered as your in Canada study. Actually, up until 30th April, even if you're doing online study and you have had the visa approval, it will be considered study in Canada. So that an update. For spousal sponsorship applicants, a lot of people who have applied for spousal sponsorship and are based outside of Canada, a lot of anxiety, huge delays. So applications which have completed their 12 months of processing in this February are still pending. A lot of applications have not had their acknowledgements even. So the 12 months turnaround time that was there for offshore spousal sponsorship applications is not standing true right now. It is there is delay of good 6 to 8 months, and it might be more. So that one update that I wanted to share, that for those who have their spouses outside of Canada and they want to apply for a spousal sponsorship, Immigration Canada has provided an exemption that if there is one particular document which you're not able to submit at this stage, which is a mandatory document, but you have other documentation, do submit your spousal sponsor application. Like maybe if in some place you're not able to get a police certificate right now, or maybe you're not able to get hold of pictures, the kind of pictures that you would want for this application. You can still submit your application. There will be a 90-day time. They will open the applications in 90 days. Once they open and there is a document that is missing, they will let you know, but they will start processing on those applications. So those people who have their spouses outside of Canada and they have all documents, but maybe say 1 or 2 documents are missing, they should not wait. They should submit the spousal sponsorship application and start that process, because it's already going to take more than the normal processing time. So these are a few updates I wanted to share with all of you. One good thing, recently there was a Saskatchewan draw. I think I might have talked about it in last week's session, but just wanted to share that there was a round of invitation by Saskatchewan province, and they did invite people on the score of 68. It has been stuck at 69 and 70, so 68, a good opportunity for people who might be missing points because of age, like people who were just above 34, say, who had CLB 8, 10 years of experience, master's qualification, but their age just went past 34. These people might have had invitation in this round. Okay, now I'll move towards your comments and questions. As I mentioned that I'm actually on vacation with family, so doing this session from the hotel room. So it's already 15 minutes, so I'll quickly try and answer a few of your questions, and then we'll finish it off and maybe next week. Okay, so Fayaz Ahmed asked this question. What's your suggestion for one with 40 years plus? Important question. A lot of queries, a lot of questions on this particular thing. So if you are beyond 40, very honestly, right now, your chances of skill migration are very low. I will be honest. The chances are that you will not be able to qualify under any of the skill migration streams, be it the federal or provincial. Now, keep in mind that you will meet the eligibility for many of the programs, but you will not be in a strong position to get an invitation if you're 40 plus. The way you can increase your chances are either by looking at study option, like maybe doing some kind of study in Canada. It can even be a 1-year postgraduate diploma or certificate that will allow you to stay back in Canada once you finish your degree, have a postgraduate work permit for an equal duration. So you have a 1-year postgraduate work permit, and then you will have points for Canadian education. That 1 year you can have work experience in Canada, so that will increase your points. And then there are, depending on which province you do your study, there are provincial nomination programs for people as well. So that's one possibility. The second possibility is, which is a little difficult, is looking for jobs. Now, finding jobs is not all that easy, and I always say that there's a lot of fraud when we talk about the work permits and all that. But it's not that it's not possible. Now, depending on what experience you have, Fayaz, or anybody else who's into 40s and has substantial experience, you can try looking for recruiters who you can use LinkedIn paid services, other paid services of recruiters, and try and connect with companies directly, recruitment officials directly, and see if you can find a job offer. It's not going to be easy, but that's a possibility. If you're able to have a job offer, you might have some chances. The third option that I would give is depending if you have some investment with you. So there is the option of owner-operator Lmia. The concept is that if you establish a business in Canada, like if you have some savings, ideally it will depend where would you want to start your business. But ideally, we should be looking at investments of 150,000 Canadian dollars to 200,000 Canadian dollars to begin with. So you can establish, you can buy a business, you can start a new business. It can be a partnership business as well. You start that, and that particular company will sponsor you for a work permit. So you will be given a work permit as the owner and operator of that business. And that helps you get 50 CRS points for job offer under express entry if it is a NOC A or B, NOC 0 A or B. And if it is a good enough a business where you're supposed to hire a few employees over here, there's good turnover, So you can actually nominate NOC 00, which is senior managers, general managers, and obtain 200 CRS points for arranged employment offer. But that will depend if you can invest about $150,000 to $200,000 at minimum, like in highs of this. And secondly, what NOC you can nominate for your job, for your business and your job, and what is the deficiency. If you're able to invest more and have the 200 CRS points, then definitely that most likely you'll be standing somewhere in 300 CRS points, adding 200 CRS points, and you move beyond 500, and that's how you get selected through express entry. But if it is not that and you only get 50 points, then see, you have to be somewhere around 420s, which at 40 might be a little difficult. So these are some of the options that you might look at, Fayaz, in specific, and anybody who's close to 40s or just above 40s in general. Muhammad Ozi asking, waiting for your prediction today. So Ozi already sort of gave my indication, depending if it is, if the same trend continues, it will be every all-inclusive draw will see a drop of 1 to 2 CRS points, most likely. For CEC, honestly, I've not been able to do the assessment. That I'll probably do next week for CEC specific people if that happens. Alain, yes, I'm doing well, but waiting to hear if the minister has given clarity on the way forward on PPR issuance. Alain, it's already mentioned. It's there isn't any policy statement on that. There have been some PPRs which have been issued, and a lot of people are waiting. It sort of depends on case officer more than anything. So right now, you just have to wait. I know some PPRs that have been issued. Firdaus Junaid, hello, first time I have come. Welcome, Firdaus. I hope today's session is not going to be too elaborate, but I hope you like the session and maybe you'll join us in upcoming sessions. Alain from South Africa, great, lovely beaches. Asma Bashir says, I'm from Sudan, living in Saudi Arabia. It is always pleasant to attend your session. That's so kind of you, Asma. And I hope I am able to guide you and provide some good information. Firdaus Junaid. Firdaus, for everybody's benefit, it is good if you, like, I can speak, I'm fluent in Urdu, and you've written it in Urdu, but for others' benefit, I think it is good if you write these things, these comments in English. If you're interested in Canadian immigration, you should be having good enough English. So I will read it. शारिक मैंने किया है, मेरी शादी समय में है, आप मुझे प्रोसेस बताएं कैसे इमिग्रेशन बेस पर कैसे आ सकती हूँ, मुझे आपसे कॉल पर बात करनी. Okay, so Firdaus is saying that she's completed MBA, she's gonna get married soon. What is the process of immigration and wants to talk on call. Now, for immigration, for skilled migration, there are various factors that you have to have a look at. These factors are your age, your education, work experience, and language ability. There are certain things which are which form the basic eligibility. If you do not have 1 year of full-time work experience with us, then you are not eligible. So if you've just recently completed your MBA and you do not have 1 year's full-time or equivalent part-time work experience, you're not even eligible. Ideally speaking, in current circumstances, it's become very competitive. In the current circumstances, we're looking at people with age less than 30 years. Master's qualification, when I say master's, I'm saying 17 or 18 years of education. In some places, there are 2 years bachelor's and then 3 years or 3.5 years master's. That will be considered as well. IELTS is very, very important. You must be scoring 8 in listening and 7 in all other modules to have a realistic chance. And then you must have around 3 years of work experience. So this is an ideal profile. If you have this profile, you can shoot an email on the screen. I will put that again. So there is the email address. Any of you who would like to use our paid services can send an email. One of my staffs will get back to you. Coming to the question that you had that you want to talk, so the issue is that there are so many queries, so many people. We first filter. The best way is that you send an email. One of my staff will get back to you, do a scrutiny. If you are in eligibility, then you can book a session with me. All the sessions, and I do virtual sessions. Usually it is a 30-minute session. All these consultation sessions are paid. There is a fee of 100 Canadian dollars for a 30-minute session, because and as I mentioned, that if you send your details, our staff will do the scrutiny, and we'll let you know if there is a realistic possibility. We do not want to waste your time, take money from you. We do not want to waste our time. So that's how we work. You can send an email, put in your query. If it is general guidelines, we'll guide you. If it is case specific, then you have to book a consultation, and we'll let you know that how things can work out for you. So that's how you move with that. Manu, will the October all program cutoff be around 473 to 474 mark? Yes, Manu. If it is like if this policy continues and every 4 weeks we get to see the all-inclusive round of invitation, then 475 right now, we might see a drop of 1 to 2 CRS points, looking at how people are moving into the express entry pool right now. You see the high scoring range of 471 and above, 470 and above is staying consistent. So that means that the amount of people who are moving out, a similar number of people are entering into the pool. So looking at this trend, yes, 473 to 474 probably in the next round. Mark Khanna, hi, what is the prediction for OINP FSW scores? Any possibility of Alberta PNP this year? Mark, good question. First, OINP is different and FSW is different. Now, I think what you meant was OINP offshore applicants who are not in Canada. So OINP has been pretty competitive as well, 460s, 470s. OINP stays slightly lower than the federal, the FSWP cutoff scores or the all-inclusive scores. So as we see all-inclusive or FSWP scores falling down, we will see OINP scores falling down as well. Right now, the way it is looking, OINP is going to stay 460s and above as well. Because keep in mind that OINP issues a smaller number of invitations. It's only a few hundred. And also, these are very targeted invitations only for specific professions. They have a tech draw, they have the general draw, about 6 to 7 professions in each of them. So it's not going to fall down drastically at all. Keep in mind, as I mentioned, that you can expect the OINP scores, CRS scores, to be about 10 to 12 CRS points lower than what express entry all-inclusive scores are. So usually that's where they stand. Okay, Mark has asked another question, which is, what's the general sense of Canada immigration going forward 2020? Any immigration minister updates? Okay, Mark, so this is right now, things, a lot of people are predicting a lot of stuff. I really don't like commenting that way. I talk about updates, whatever is there. Moving forward, let's look at the facts. IRCC, Immigration Canada, did not put a pause on invitations. They did not invite FSWP applicants for long, but they did invite applicants. A lot of CEC applicants are people who are on work permits, are foreign nationals. So they did not indicate that they are going to cut the numbers of immigrants or anything like that. Even provincial nominations, many of the provinces have continued. Some provinces haven't, but some provinces have continued. Ontario has done that. Saskatchewan has continued. So currently there doesn't seem to be any indication or any policy thought of cutting the numbers of skilled migrants. In fact, the minister has indicated through a few statements a couple of months ago, where he said that immigration is important, skilled immigration is important to Canada, and they will continue doing that. Now, for better understanding, keep in mind that every year Canada sets its target. Like right now, they're setting their target at about 340 to 350,000 immigrants every year. Now, all these immigrants are not skilled immigrants. There is family class, there's refugees, and about 1/3 is with the express entry programs and stuff. So if they want to cut the number, because the economy is sort of slowing down slightly, there's unemployment, they can actually cut down on the refugee immigration. They can cut down on the numbers of family immigration, and that will like as a whole cut down the number of immigrants that they would attract in a year, but still keep the economic migrant, the number of economic immigrants at the same level. Sorry. So I don't worry much about the immigration numbers being reduced anytime soon. Skilled migrants will still be invited by Canadian immigration, and we will not have too much of a difference in that. And as of yet, there is no specific policy in place, so we should consider this as a positive thing. If there is any indication, we will clearly see. But right now, from whatever all the discussions, all the professionals in the immigration field, there is no plan of cutting down on economic immigration at all. Okay, moving on. Sandeep, we are at 33 marks, so another 5 minutes probably. Sandeep sir, my score is 472. Are there chances till November my scores will decline first week of December? Sandeep, it's really unpredictable right now. As I've already mentioned that my expectation is if end of draws continues, 1 to 2 CRS points every all-inclusive draw. So till November, we might see 2 to 3 more CRS draws. So there is possibility. Yeah. Sukhwinder Khera, any prediction about regular FSWP draws? So FSWP draws are happening regularly, but now they're happening alternatively. So that's all that is there. I have no other information on that. Fayaz says, excellent explanation. Thanks. You're more than welcome, Fayaz. Hopefully, you can find some way and move to Canada. Ragurk saying, what can be the Sierra cutoff for coming CEC target draws? Ragurk, I'm really sorry, as I mentioned that I'm actually on vacations. I wanted to do this weekly session. It's a long weekend. Tomorrow's a day off as well. I haven't been able to do an analysis for the CEC applicants, probably I'll do that in the coming week, and then I'll share that in the live session that we do next weekend. Daljit, hi sir, for PNP, how many bands required in IELTS? I have 4 years experience as service engineer in India. Good question, Daljit. So for PNP, a lot of people think that PNPs are easy. Yes and no. And I've talked about this a few times. PNPs have become as competitive as the federal programs. There are not many PNPs right now where offshore applicants can come in. Right now, realistically, there are only 3. I'll repeat. I've talked about this in previous sessions as well, in videos as well. There's Ontario. So in Ontario, you could be invited under PNP. But it's only a selected number of about 10 to 12 NOCs or professions. There's Alberta. Alberta right now in COVID situation is not inviting anybody. Even in normal circumstances, they only invite people who have a close connection to the province and certain professions, IT professions. And then there's Saskatchewan. In case of Saskatchewan, you need to have the IELTS requirement is slightly lower, that's CLB 8, but you must have 9 to 10 years of work experience to have a realistic possibility. So right now, if you have a low IELTS, pretty much none of the PNP is open for you. Ontario, to have scores of 460s, you need a CLB 9. Saskatchewan, as I mentioned, the highest number of points for language proficiency you will fetch if you have CLB 8. So that's again 7.5 listening, 6.5 in all others. Alberta, they do invite people at low CRS, so maybe a possibility, but then only if you have one of your brothers or sisters based in the province of Alberta that you might be invited, and again, as I said, only selected professions. Other than this, without a job offer or local education or work experience from the province, if you have low IELTS, you do not have possibilities. British Columbia, they've not invited offshore applicants for many months, probably a year now. So possibilities in PNPs, if you have a low IELTS, are also non-existent, I would say, right now. Sandeep, I'll quickly rush with things now. Sandeep sir, in case if I'm able to make a single applicant, how long will it take after reaching Canada's sponsor? So Sandeep, I think what you want to say that if you apply as a non-accompanying spouse, so if you apply as a non-accompanying spouse, once you land in Canada, your PR status gets activated. You just wait for your PR card. You get your account and all that. In maybe a week or 2 weeks, you can submit your application for spousal sponsorship. Previously, it was taking about 12 months time, 10 to 12 months. But now with the COVID situation, there are huge delays. So once you land, because you still have to have an invitation and then you will submit your PR application, which will in itself take another 6. So we're talking of 8 to 9 months down the line that you might land in Canada. By that time, the backlog that is there might already be cleared and the processing time might move to the normal processing time of 10 to 12 months. So 10 to 12 months was the time pre-COVID for spousal sponsorship applications for people who had their spouses outside of Canada. What is your expectation prediction regarding Wabib? I won't. Mark Khanna, thanks again. Both question answers on point. Good insight into economic immigration numbers. You're welcome, Mark. Altaf Hussain, if someone has done EC and IELTS, then there is a chance in his date of birth and you fix this. Does the IELTS score update if we contact with that? Altaf, I'm not able to understand your question. If someone has done ECA and IELTS, then there is a change in his date of birth and you fix this. I think you're trying to ask that if there is a discrepancy in your real date of birth and the date of birth which is mentioned on your Ielts and ECA. If there is such a discrepancy, you have to contact these bodies. This can be a challenging issue, but this can be tried. Merlin, hi Shariq, as per your advice, I'm considering applying as single applicant. Can you explain more on how the process would be for spousal invite and the timelines for getting PR spousal invite? Merlin, in general, once you land, like if you want case specific thing, you will have to send an email and sign up for our paid services. But in general, so first thing will be you'll get an ITA. You'll get an ITA. You'll submit your own documents, all the documents. You'll get a PPR, and then you'll land in Canada as a PR yourself. So you land in Canada as a PR, you become a permanent resident, you have the COPR or permanent resident card. And then while you're here in Canada, you submit a paper application. The spousal sponsorship application in Canada, this is a paper application. And you have to provide all the documentation in terms of your marriage documentation and other relevant documents. You submit that. It is submitted over here. And as I was mentioning, pre-COVID, it was about 10 to 12 months. After 2 to 3 months, you get an acknowledgement and then the procedure starts. So first part is that you sponsor. They look at your eligibility as a sponsor. For this kind of sponsorship, you do not require any income levels. There's no requirement for a job offer or anything. You just land, do your PR formalities, and then you can apply for the PR, for the spousal sponsorship application. So there's no need that you first have to find a job. You just have to have an income. You can actually apply, say, after a week or 2 weeks of landing in Canada. 10 to 12 months, the normal processing times, currently it is taking longer than that. But as I mentioned already, because you will yourself be becoming a permanent resident in 10 to 12 months from now, most likely. So by that time, we might see the processing times going back to the normal timelines. Altaf, if I mail West for updating the date of birth, do they change? And after Altaf, this is a ECA specific question. You have to check with West for that. I have my expertise in immigration matters, so can't really comment on that. Gagan, as all VFS are closed now, I have biometric request. So my question is, do they process normally? Gagan, I'm not sure what application do you have. Is it a study permit application, or I'll actually wait for a minute or so that you can mention. You will be the last query for the day. If you're talking about study permit applications, they are processing them on a 2-stage approval process without biometric submission. So if biometric submission has not been done yet, you can still have approval on the first stage of your application. Fair enough. I think that's all for today. Yeah, so I will end it at this. Thank you for joining the session. After long, I've taken a vacation and some time off. I'll be back in office. For those of you who have case-specific queries, feel free to send us an email on the generic email, which is on the screen, which is info@shariqimmigration.com. One of my staffs will get back to you. Keep in mind, if it is a case-specific query that you have, then you need to book our paid services. You can book a consultation. If you just want to discuss your case, it is a 30-minute virtual consultation session that you can book, and we can talk about what are the possibilities for your case. A lot of people say that we want to talk, we want to call. With the large volume of queries that is there, that's not possible. So sending an email is the best way of contacting. We have a WhatsApp business number as well that people send their queries to. They have to be redirected to the email address as well, because it has to be documented. For any questions and queries that you have, you can join the weekly live session, and whatever questions you pose over here, I'm happy to answer those. Um, that's about it from my side for today. Thanks for your support. I would request all of you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the Facebook page, do comment, do provide your feedback on the videos. For a while, I've not been able to upload, have generic videos made and upload them on the YouTube channel. You will start seeing that a little more. Wherever you are, take very good care of yourself. Enjoy your time with family. Till the next time that we meet, take care.